Let us pray. O God of all creation, we come to you to ask for thy presence at this city council meeting of Kennett this evening. May you be with all these elected officials and appointed officials as they conduct matters of business. May your supreme wisdom guide them as they make plans and decisions for the entire community. Give them listening ears and thoughtful consideration. Give them open hearts. We also give thanks for all those who serve the community and to make it a better place. Be with each person here. We ask this all in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the package, you have the minutes from the 9/5 meeting. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second. Motion second. Any questions or corrections? Favor say aye.
Aye.
The committee reports, changes.
I've got to change.
You got it.
Yeah, she said she wasn't going to be here, but in your packets, there is from Melissa Combs information about a round table that's going to be at the chamber Thursday. And if anybody would like to participate, please RSVP. And that's the only report that she had for tonight.
Finance committee.
Had a meeting last week. We went over our income and expenses. Our sales tax for the month of September, it was down across the board. Sales tax 1, 2, capital sales tax and transportation tax. We had 2 good months. July and August was good. September kind of even things out. We're back to flat with a trend downwards. On the expense side, most of the budget is under budget. We're just going to continue monitoring the income and the expense and see what happens next month.
Fire committee.
None at this time. John's going to address council a little bit.
Human resource.
I don't have anything for the public.
Police committee.
Don't have anything for the public this time of that either.
Get back at that. Street department.
We've had some equipment failure that is really tied into the stormwater issues as well. So that's going to kind of bring some of that to the forefront later on. Otherwise, we had a meeting scheduled for the same night as the parade, so we're going to cancel that meeting. And for right now, I think we're in pretty good shape of everything. And that's all I've got.
So we're going to skip September
Yes, we are.
meeting altogether.
Yes.
No reports. Fire.
I've provided you the monthly fire report in your packet. There was a total of, within the city, 97 calls that they made for the month. And there was 5 that were outside the city for a total of 102 calls. Again, breakdown looks like between noon and 1 o'clock was our busiest time throughout the month. 10 of the calls on the second page. On the third page. Fourth page will have your actual structure fires that occurred within the city. And the fifth page is kind of information we use. It breaks down the roads into different easier terms: structure fires, vehicle fires, medical calls and such, and which wards those occurred in, and then You'll have the vehicle mileage. Some of it, we got a couple trucks, speedometers, they're old enough, speedometers aren't exactly accurate. For engine hours. If you have any questions on that, feel free to ask. We advertised, I think some other things moved along with the commercial building that's on First Street where we need to probably do some expedite a little bit and get the building probably removed because of the condition of it. We've blocked off the front sidewalk there by the building, and with that, in talking to Street Commissioner Randy Carter earlier this week, and I had him to give me a note. Basically, he felt that the council should approve closing the street permanently, and what we're asking is Spence Street or Spence Alley from the edge of the building going west out to Jackson Street. We would barricade that. If you look at the back of the building, you're going to see loose bricks laying on the edge of the building. Basically, an old natural gas line and some of the conduits, all that's holding that wall down. It's probably used more than what you think, because a lot of people come down Jackson, make a left turn and go down, right turn on Main. We don't want the whole street, because there are some people that work in the area that park there on the east end that connects with Main Street, and they would still be that. So with that,
That won't interfere with any other businesses, will it?
no.
So you got the abstract office down there, like?
Yeah, they'll be able to access the abstract. We're not going that far down to close. You know, where the old drive-ups were, there's a center drive-up. We'll leave them two openings open and block it from the corner of the building over to the edge of the street.
What about that house there on that corner? Will it affect that at all?
That house is empty.
Okay.
It's empty. So, just trying to reduce our liability is what it amounts to. If you all would entertain that, to approve that.
We're not closing it permanently, we're closing it.
No, just until we
It's
can.
temporary.
Yeah, it's not a permanent closing, it's just temporary closing until we can. I'll advise you what we're doing to move this along.
I don't think y'all would have to have us to do that, we can do it just as a hazard.
Well, Randy said that if it was temporary work, he can close it, but he informed me that, street department doesn't have authority to close the street unless they're working for a specific thing. He felt that council should.
If it's closed for a hazard, I mean, they did one over on Third Street.
But I'm just passing along what our conversation was.
I understand, but I mean, it just don't make sense that we would have to.
Well, we don't have to do it by ordinance.
No, we don't have to do this.
I'll make the motion that we. I'll second.
A motion and a second.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Temporarily close it.
Yeah, we'll keep you informed on. The other thing is, in moving along with it, we turned over to the city clerk for advertisement in the local news, for, a authorized companies. I believe we have one in Kennett, and Department of Natural Resources provided us with 2 additional to get some cost estimates or bids on doing the asbestos testing of the building, since it's an older commercial building. Once we get that in, that would probably be near the end of this month. In the next council meeting, we'll bring those bids forward to be approved. Once that's approved, then we will have to determine the methods into which we have a sheet that requests for proposal, but it was much too large to print the paper, so we are having them contact the clerk's office if they're interested in putting a bid in. We're gonna ask the owner of the building, the Bard, to give us a written approval for access to the building beginning tomorrow and in the future. With that, Department of Natural Resources has a requirement that any commercial demolition, we have to start filling out a form. And with that form, there's now a $100 fee for them to review it. Right now, I kind of mentioned this in the committee meeting, if you'll authorize the mayor to sign a letter, we can get a letter up to the governor. They're looking at the review of fees and services that are being provided by the state to see what might be eliminated or what. So with that, I feel with this $100 fee, we ought to send a letter up to the governor's office saying we think that this is excess and inappropriate. So, there's no objections. The mayor's willing to sign a letter, we'll get something together on it in the upcoming days, and it's just gonna cost us a stamp and a letter asking that we feel it's $100 to review paperwork is kind of ridiculous. So, anyway.
When that's their job anyway.
What's that?
When that's their job to do anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll be doing that, and as soon as we would get those back at the next meeting, we can see how we can get it mitigated. There are several different ways they suggested that we can do this, and all depending on what comes back. Some of it can be done in place, and the person that does the demolition will just have to notify the landfill that some of the debris contains asbestos material. Then the next thing we'll have to do is take bids to actually remove the building. So,
What building are we talking about removing?
I can tell you
The old
here,
Spence Farms.
the old Spence Farm
One
office.
down here we've been talking about?
Yes.
I thought we was gonna make the owner do that.
Well, if, we're moving along with that process, but if the owner decides they don't have the funds to do it, we're gonna have to do something.
We don't either.
Yeah,
That is
I
true.
know.
John, excuse me, does your asbestos have to be removed separate, or can it go as the,
They give us 3 options that can happen. Some of it, depending on what they come back with, is floor tile stuff can be put in with the debris and removed. I remember when they tore down the old office supply building there next to the service station on Jackson Street. It had some asbestos. We just provided some fire hoses with them, and they kept a water spray on it to keep the fragments of asbestos from flying in the air, and they were able to load it in a dump truck and take it to the landfill. So we just gotta find out what kind and where.
it would be very dangerous to have to go in there and remove just the asbestos out of there.
Like I said, we'll talk to the owner tomorrow and push the issue and be sending it of what, the way we talked about it before, but if that doesn't happen, we gotta have I guess we gotta have a plan B, and nothing will happen until it comes before the council and approve it. So at that point in time, we'll have to discuss what the cost would be and whether or not we can afford it. I know. And in talking to the insurance, city has, they say we have some shared liability, and that we know about the building could fall out the road. So it's so close to First Street, it's hard to put what we call rakers up against the building, because you don't have the distance is not long enough between the front of the building and the edge of the sidewalk, and it would be to build a 2x6 raker up against the building with a bottom coming out and a brace coming. It's the way they teach us on how to stabilize buildings in earthquakes and stuff. We just don't have room. So,
We sound we got some legal liability, then okay, but I think the legal liability would remain on the owner.
The main
I'm sure-
liability does remain on the owner.
yeah.
Pardon?
The main liability does remain on the owner. The only liability that the city would have is what falls into the street, and any injury that was caused by it falling into the street or on the
But
side.
I'm sure that owner wasn't gonna share his pockets if it hadn't turned out to be a bad building.
Because, you know, as far as liability to the adjoining landowners and all that, the city does not have liability.
we're trying to move the process along twofold, and you all have final decision on it before we make any move, other than we'll have to see on the asbestos issue. Anyway, with that, I believe, that's only, there's two things that I have. Any other questions?
Question.
Yes.
Or statement. A couple of weeks ago, we had the incident with a young man and wanting to get the dog squared away. And I really appreciate the email on it. I thought it was very factual. I thought it kept some of the odds and ends out of it. I appreciate that. Since then, I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that he ended up with a 2-year unsupervised probation over this,
Well, it was because of violation of leash law.
and that was over the leash law?
When the dog was picked up, it was picked up across the street on a complaint of a neighbor.
Here's how it came about. He said the dog was his because he didn't feed him.
Right.
Well, the dog was his, then he had a leash law violation, so we charged him with a leash law violation.
Okay. So that's not in terms of probation, we're just talking about in terms of the leash law?
Yes,
Or is
it's a leash law.
this isn't a probation in terms of any,
Normal sentencing?
yeah, normal,
Well, I mean, he is, I mean,
If he
yeah,
has
he's on probation for a violation of the leash law.
okay.
In other words, if he has a subsequent release of the dog, and it's found in another neighbor's yard, he comes back to court, and they can look at it as a
We
second
can
offense.
revoke, we can revoke the probation, but that's what it was. But since he was trying, or did claim, and we didn't have any way to prove otherwise, that the dog was, that he was the owner of the dog, because he was sheltered and fed him for 3 days, then if he wanted to claim that, then he also has to take responsibility for the whereabouts of the dog.
Right, I agree.
That's why the
He
leash law.
he was not wanting to have the dog neutered, so he
That's
claimed,
what it was.
yeah, he
Right.
claimed ownership of the dog, and the
So
only
you
way,
didn't have to pay for the neutering.
if it would have been a stray dog, according to the Department of Agriculture, once it come into the pound, she would have had to have it neutered prior to adoption.
If it was going to be adopted, it had to be neutered.
So he signed a form, basically with the city clerk and I, saying that he was the rightful owner. Well, with that, the dog was found running loose. And he agreed, we talked to him, it wasn't no surprise, I mean, he knew that.
I told him that would happen as
Yeah.
well. So.
And the second thing was, there was no tag or evidence the dog had had its rabies shot, so he had to pay to have the dog vaccinated.
I just wanted to hear the final. I mean, I think we all ended up involved in that, didn't we? So,
And that's,
90%.
and that's the way we could resolve the issue quicker than him waiting until Friday
Yes.
or whatever, and
All right.
other things happening, so.
well, I do, like I said,
Agree to it.
I do appreciate the email. I think that was a very factual, well thought out email that you sent. Thank you for the rest of it.
Well, after the issue and everybody was notified, I felt that before we was gonna have a city council meeting in 2 weeks, you should know what was going on. So everybody wasn't calling my phone and blowing up, so you just sending out mass email and you would say, yeah, I got that call, okay, that's what's going on, so. All right,
Thank you.
you're welcome. All right, thank you.
Police department? As far as our data numbers, they're still crunching those. Usually ours should be closed out by the next council meeting, and we should have all some statistics. First of all, I'd like to give a few shout outs out to the Falling Arts Committee and the festival. That went very well. Huge crowds, we didn't have any problems. Officers walked through there, I made a walk through there, and it was everybody was having a good time. It was very good, it brought people downtown, so that went very good. September 11th, this month, of course, September 11th, 2001, everybody knows what happened that day. The Duncan County Commission had us to the courthouse for a presentation, and it was very, very good. It was an appreciation for all law enforcement, fire personnel, and all first responders. And they did a very good job. And after that, we went to Glenn Sane, who also does this second year for them. Danny Ford does an outstanding job with all the dealerships. He has law enforcement appreciation, first responders, and he's going to continue to have that. huge crowd out there. They brought the helicopter in for medevac. People has a chance to look at that. We had police cars out there, fire trucks, and everything. You know, it's just a great event. So I want to give a shout out to all those people. School started back in last month, and we are patrolling through those areas. We go inside the schools, talk to principals, superintendents. So, you know, that's first and foremost is our importance is taking care of our schools and making sure we keep those safe. That's our priority. Also, we have the homecoming parade this week. It's going to be Friday. It starts about 1:30. I'd like to ask all the motorists that's going to be out, if you're not going to come down to watch it, to be cautious and courteous, because we do have, it's a pretty good parade. It starts out on West 84 at the west end of town. It comes to the courthouse, and we have a ceremony at the courthouse, and then also a presentation and a speech. So that lasts, you know, maybe 30 minutes or so. So I ask everybody to use caution and be courteous through that. So we got the Delta Fair coming up, or preparations for the parade. It's a big event for us and the law enforcement. We got a lot of area to cover, a lot of corners to get blocked off, and you know, a lot of people's going to be in town. So we've got a big responsibility that night, other than the fair starts also that night. So it's just an increase in people. We're geared up for it. We're having meetings on it. Other than that, everything is going great. You got any questions?
Just got one request. On the Delta Fair Parade, we're talking about this building we got barricaded on the sidewalk. We need to do what we can to make sure nobody gets in the barricades.
Yeah,
they line up.
We can reinforce that some more, get that, where people can't get in there,
Make sure
the front and the back.
They don't get there, because that is very, very dangerous. It's bricks falling off that old building, and you know, when somebody gets hit in the head.
We can take care of that.
We ask people not to throw candy in there.
You know how that goes.
Joe?
My name's Earl Moss, and I'll be standing in for Randy Carter tonight. We had kind of a short week with a holiday. We got 4 days of street repair, clean storm drains a day, run the sweeper 4 days, and worked on it for 2. We had 4 days in the shop working, had a couple extra days out to compost, working on some of the stuff out there. A day's worth of working on the street signs, and 2 days worth of grading. We got a day's worth of prep in front of contractors, 4 days worth of painting on the crosswalks and turn arrows, 3 days worth of trimming, and 6 days worth of sidewalk replacement. A couple days of driver training, a day worth of bush hogging. We had a couple days out on Industrial Drive doing some concrete. And we had 4 days of sidewalk evaluation because the farmer required. Out of the compost, over the last couple of weeks, we've had 193 loads that we expect that to pick up with fall coming. And we've started adding some chat along St. Francis, trying to fill some of those holes in. Any questions you don't have for me, anything might can answer?
It wasn't so bad, was
You're
it?
letting him off too easy.
You're deer in the headlights.
Good job.
Joe, it's probably no problem, but on College Street, I noticed they unloaded a pretty good sized machine down there on metal tracks on that concrete street. So if y'all could take a look, make sure they didn't damage or tear that street up any.
Okay, go look at it.
Those excavators don't weigh that much.
Metal tracks aren't made to go down streets.
Very much there.
Oh, at the
If y'all could take a look and get some extra surveillance
So
on
if we
it.
get a chance tomorrow, we'll look at it.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
In the packet, we've got 3 ordinances for CLGW.
And most of these are catch-ups that, as you know, CLGW's been buying properties around their, building around the facilities. And these are 3 that have already been bought, but we didn't have ordinances. So, questions for those. First one is An ordinance authorizing the city of Kennett, Missouri, acting by and through the Kennett Board of Public Works to purchase property located at 210 South Anthony in the city.
Motion.
Second.
Favor say
Aye.
Second reading, an ordinance authorizing the city of Kennett, Missouri, acting by and through the Kennett Board of Public Works to purchase property located at 210 South Anthony in the city.
aye.
Motion. Second.
Aye.
Yes.
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 Second property, is an ordinance authorizing the city of Kennett, Missouri, acting by and through the Kennett Board of Public Works to purchase property located at 404 East 3rd Street in the city.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Second reading, an ordinance authorizing the city of Kennett, Missouri, acting by and through the Kennett Board of Public Works to purchase property located at 404 East 3rd Street in the city.
Motion.
Second.
Favor say
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Aye.
And the third one, and this one actually is one we did have an ordinance on, but the address we were given for that ordinance was 604 East 3rd Street, and this is 602 East 3rd Street. And the title insurance company gets picky about such things. First reading, an ordinance authorizing the city of Kennett, Missouri, acting by and through the Kennett Board of Public Works to purchase property located at 602 East 3rd Street in the city.
Motion.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Second reading, an ordinance authorizing the city of Kennett, Missouri, acting by and through the Kennett Board of Public Works to purchase property located at 602 East 3rd Street in the city.
Motion.
Roll call.
Aye.
Yes.
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 That's it.
Yes. Okay, in your packets, under the little clippy, that is the NIMS course that everybody needs to take. And when you take it, it tells you everything to do. You'll go in and you'll get your FEMA SID number, and it'll look like that. Of course, it'll be on a big page of paper, but anyway, you have to have that before you take your test. There's 3 tests to take. It is timed at 25 minutes, but if you need more time, you just hit the button telling that you need more time. But my suggestion is it's not hard because you have the answers, but you don't need to be interrupted, you know, because that time factor gets in there. So then after you finish it, it'll take just a little bit, but then you will get your certificate showing that you passed the test and you have been trained. 3 tests, 3 certificates. And I need these certificates just as soon as you guys can take the test and get them to me. We'll make copies. We got a color copier. But anyway, we have to have this information on file should we have another disaster, so that we will be eligible to receive state and federal monies. So it's an important thing. And John, all I could find was it said council members and city officials. So is that department heads?
Yes, department heads, anybody in the supervisory realm will have to do it. General employees, generally if they do the 100 and 700, that will suffice.
Well, I'm gonna have my office and the municipal, because if something were to happen, we would be up here helping. So, just wanted to double check with that.
And we probably need to make sure in the park board that they look at it, and also the street department.
Your department heads will need,
Yeah.
This needs to be done by when?
as soon as you can get it to me. I know the fair's coming up, so that might slow y'all down, having to go out there every night.
Well, they tell you to download it and then if you go through the stuff, it'll, when you see that.
But it's about that thick, so you all have the answers. Yes, no, you can do it online, yeah, you don't have to download the material.
In your packet, you have the city abstract, and it's to approve. City abstract.
The rest of it.
In your packet.
Yes.
Motion.
Motion second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
CRPWT.
We also have, abstract, excuse me, abstract for CLGW.
Motion.
All in favor, say aye. Also want to make mention, we will have a public hearing at 6:30 on October 3rd. Next council meeting.
That's for the property out by Buchanan. Yeah, it's a regular council meeting, just the first thing on the agenda.
Some of you got part of this information, but make sure the whole council got it. We have a tenant over in the Comdress property. Pascal. They've been a tenant for several months, years. The building they're in has got a lot of leaks in the roof. And the product they're storing there is cotton product, and of course we're coming into the cotton harvest season. I can't tell you, answer this question, I've got to talk to Jim Greeley, is there some other facility that could be moved to? At this juncture, we have a proposal from Greeley, which he has run past his board, for CLGW to put a topping on this roof. The cost is $95,400. It's a 36,000 square foot building. It's a 10-year guaranteed roof. This needs to be acted upon quickly and moved forward. The first question is probably where the money comes from. I would recommend we access the $200,000 line of credit that was established when we bought that property, just for this top estimate. The year buildings weren't in the best state of repair, so we went ahead and established the line of credit at that time. So, questions, discussion? We have a bid proposal here that Diane has in front of her. On the YUTZY Brothers Roofing out of Lynn, Missouri. And they did go through and got about 3 quotes on this. This was the best quote. So the floor open for discussion or questions.
What kind of,
Is there another?
Do we have another building that we can move them into?
I've got to check that in the morning. I don't think so, but I'll ask the questions anyway.
I was thinking that meeting there the other night, we kind of decided it wasn't feasible to do that.
You want to evict the customer?
And I thought with the rent that we was generating and the cost that it was cost to fix it.
The rent income is $1,500 a month, $1,543 if I remember. Exact number.
Yeah, it was right around there.
Depending on how you want to look at this, this is an investment for a 10-year period, which means each year $95.40 is what you're investing in the roof. You're generating $1,583 a month over a 12-month period, so on a year-to-year basis, they will wind up paying for the roof. More than paying for it.
is the building itself in good enough shape that it will be
That's
around?
my knowledge, the only problem is the roof.
Good.
It's leaking on the product.
But we're not making a decision tonight, we're looking at our options about moving them to one of the other buildings, correct?
I can find that out tomorrow, but,
They need this in.
they need this quickly, and the next council meeting is not until the 3rd of October.
If we have enough money to pay part of this down,
No.
Well, they're requiring 9,540,
If they have a balance of, is this correct?
pretty close, yeah.
They have a balance of
Conference account's got
$52,000
$52,000
in the
roughly
account now.
in that account.
But when they get through with the job, they're gonna want the rest of their money.
I just thought that's why we don't deplete our line of credit or use up too much of it, we can pay part of it. I didn't know where we stood as far as that goes.
52,000 is what's there from the balance in their account now, but we have to make the loan payment out of that. So basically, we have no money to invest in the roof.
Right now, we're making a loan payment out of capital improvements.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it needs to be made out of that.
Your rental payments right now from Utley, Parker, and Pascal is $4,700 a month.
Mhm.
Are they all in the same building?
No,
No.
the income from that building is $1,500. I would say we just check and see if we have any other place that we're moving to first before we make a decision to spend that kind of money.
I'd hate to see our little investment go downhill,
Yes.
because
I check it.
the roof keeps leaking too. I don't want to see that happen.
Okay, if you're agreeable, what I suggest we do, I'll check with Grieving first thing in the morning, assuming he'll be there. I'll get the information and get it to you, email to you, and get you the email back your response.
Yeah, and the email will be public. And the emails will all be public. Notes is given.
Is that satisfactory with the council?
I'm good with that.
I'll check first thing, and let's go see the doctor first thing. Second thing, we'll check with Grieving tomorrow. Anybody got anything else they'd like to bring up?
I might mention, if you do have some problems with that, you'll get hold of myself, David, or Paul Spain. We'll give you a hand with it.
You got crib sheet?
Yeah, on that test. I mean, they have somebody, officer or something, or getting that student ID.
Well, I
Move our
can help
mouse over
too, I
for
took
us.
it yesterday.
I've got one more item,
Yes, sir.
just for information purposes. We requested with the state of Missouri for the 2018 construction period that they consider putting a shoulder on the bypass as well as a bike path on the bypass. And so we'll let you know how that request goes. But I think it's a safety issue with that shoulder too, so see what we come up with.
Since you brought that up and you're good friends with those folks, would you check with MoDOT and see if they can do something about the right-of-way on the north bypass, particularly along Greenfield? It's only about waist high. One guy did mow his property all the way out and just made the rest of it look that much worse. Really highlighted it.
I forgot
Yeah,
that,
our mow crew is stretched to the limits right now. I don't think we can take on
They don't have nothing, they don't know that high.
that, so.
Dr. Wayne texted me, he wasn't gonna be able to be here tonight, but he said he heard from Mitzi Dale and that the government has not released funds yet, so we don't know if we got the grant or not. It might be October.
But he did get some check put on St. Francis. Anything else? We're adjourned.